Let's bring in Barnaby Joyce, now the Shadow Veterans Affairs Minister. Barnaby, it is good to see you. A couple of political points of note this morning, particularly relating to IR. The TWU now wants leave and super for workers in the gig economy. Then there's this other push for more stay-at-home work. That's before the Fair Work Commission at the moment. What are your thoughts on all of these movements in that space?
Well, a lot of these things start, Peter and listeners, on a benevolent position, but where they end up is something entirely different. Now, of course, if gig workers, if you increase the cost of gig workers, you increase the cost of pizzas being delivered to your door, of other parts of the economy that are actually delivered by gig workers, Uber drivers, etc. Now, I suppose the taxi drivers will be happy about that, but someone has to pay in the end, and the more costs that you put on the production or the delivery of a service, then you at the house, at the door of the house, have to pay. I mean, there is no magic to this. So in a cost of living crisis, you've got to balance these things up. So let's see the final determination. But we know if the TWU are involved with it, as is their want, maybe as is their role, they're going to push this as far as they possibly can, and push it too far, you're not going to help people on jobs, you're going to remove them from their jobs.
Geez, the unions have got a wind in their sails at the moment, don't they?
Oh, they certainly do, and this always happens when the Labor Party are in power. I mean, they pay the piper. You have a look at the disclosures. There is literally millions of dollars that arrive from the union movement to pay for the Labor Party. It's overwhelmingly a union-driven organisation. And, of course, when the Labor Party gets in, they've got to pay their dues, and they deliver IR legislation and all the changes that the union movement have been asking for. Now, unions represent about 10% of the economy. It's the other 90% that sort of sit back and go, well, hang on, that's all very well and good for you, but what about the other 90%? We're not part of this gig, and why are we paying, and why are you coming into our lives, into our offices? Now, certain things like access to an office. If your office is in your house, like it is in so many regional areas, that's the office, a union official can get access to it. I mean, why?
In your space, Barnaby, today marks 2 months since the Royal Commission into Defence and Vet Suicide asked the government to act on recommendations. Your thoughts on the fallout and the pace of the response?
Hopeless. And it's yet another sign of the sort of incompetence of the Labor government. On the 22nd of December, recommendation number 1 from the Royal Commission said you had to get 3 acts, DRCA, MRCA and VEA, and combine them into one. Now, it was supposed to come out on the 22nd of December. We are now in the 22nd of February. So what's happened? We're 2 months late. We haven't even had an explanation from the Minister about what's going on here. Now, if they can't deliver on recommendation number 1 for the Royal Commission, then I'm starting to get really worried about any further recommendations. This is a litmus test as to whether not having the Minister in Cabinet and whether the government has the capacity and the competency to deliver on the basic issues of government, and in this case, recommendation 1 from a Royal Commission. Means very little to so many people, but if you've been in the services, it means an awful lot to you.